Once you have logged into the system, this is the view you will see. Click on My Projects in the top left-hand corner. Here you will see a list of all the projects you have access to. Click on Accord. This is the project homepage. It contains general overview information about the project. Click on Record Status Dashboard to go to the patient overview. Here you will find an overview of all patients enrolled in the project at your own center. Each patient is assigned a unique ID number based on country code and hospital. This should be logged in a separate file outside REDCap, together with complete personal data. The overview also shows the patient's initials, year of birth, gender, and date of surgery to provide a quick overview. In the record status dashboard, you can choose which instruments you want to display. For example, if you have several patients who are due for a 90-day follow-up, you can choose to display only that instrument. If you select Default Dashboard, all instruments will be displayed. To start registering, press Add New Record. At the top of the page, there is a disclaimer stating that local ethical rules must be followed and that a separate identification log with complete personal data must be kept outside the REDCap system. A template for this will be provided upon request. Now we begin registration. Many of the fields have a help text for clarification. We fill in the initials, year of birth, and gender. To speed up the process, you can use arrow keys or number keys. For yes and no questions, 1 equals yes and 0 equals no. Once we have completed the form, we save it. There are 3 different options for saving. Incomplete can be used if something needs to be added. Unverified can be used if something needs to be double-checked, for example by someone other than the person entering the data. Complete is used when the form is fully completed. We save the form as complete. If we then select Save and Exit Form, we return to the patient overview. If we select Save and go to Next Form instead, the system jumps to the registration form. At the top of the page, the patient's ID number, initials, year of birth, and gender are displayed as a security measure. We fill in the data under the Admission heading. The system automatically calculates BMI. Under WHO ECOG score, there is a help text for each number. Let's move on to anesthesia. Under ACE score, there is also help text for the numbers. I use the numbers on the keyboard to register, but you can also use the arrow keys or the mouse. Under intervention, we begin by recording the date. If the registration takes place on the same day as the procedure, we can use the Today button. I set the date to January 1st, 2026. The diagnosis is specified using the ICD-10 code. Once you have entered the first few letters and numbers, the system will provide a list of suggestions. Select the diagnosis code that applies to your patient. The same applies to the main surgical procedure. Start typing the NCSP code and the system will automatically suggest codes. Note that all codes are written without full stop. I have written the NCSP code for Whipple. If I then select No when asked about a new anastomosis, the system will display a warning message. I change my answer. Depending on how I answer some of the questions, follow-up questions will appear. One example is the question about vessel reconstruction. If I answer that a vessel reconstruction has been performed, the system will ask which type of vessel has been reconstructed. We move on to complications. Depending on how the questions are answered, different follow-up questions will appear. Only relevant questions should be displayed. The system automatically calculates the length of stay and revised accordion score based on how we answer the questions. If the patient dies during the index stay, the date of death is entered instead, and the subsequent follow-up forms will not be displayed. Complications or reoperations that occur within 30 days from index surgery are to be registered in this form. The follow-up record is automatically created and can be accessed at any time, for instance if the patient dies more than 30 days but less than 90 days after index surgery, or if you wish to register histological data in advance. There is a comment field in each form. These can be used for internal communication between registrars or for notes and are not included in the data extraction. The 90-day form begins with the question of whether the patient is confirmed deceased at 90-day follow-up or earlier. If we answer yes, we must enter the date of death, and the system calculates the number of days between the index surgery and death. If we answer no, we are asked whether the patient has been followed up. We have a drop-down menu with various options. If we have followed up the patient, we must enter the WHO ECOG score and histological diagnosis. If the diagnosis differs from the initial diagnosis at the time of the index surgery, the registry will use the diagnosis recorded at 90 days. Finally, we press Save and Exit Form and return to the patient overview.